Hey, everybody, welcome to the Office 365 Pulse. We're missing our good buddy Adam today. He is vacationing, so he is off. I think he's video gaming with a bunch of his friends. So, more
That's
power to
right.
him. Have fun, Adam. We missed you this week. So Tom and I are going to walk you through this week's Office 365 updates. Three categories. We have rolling out, which means it's coming to first release tenants. We have in development, which means we are working on it. We're making it back up in Redmond. It's not hit anyone's tenants yet, but we're thinking about how we're building it. We're building it. We're doing all those cool things. And then launched, which means, hey, we're out there and we're good to go. So we'll go through the list with everybody, talk through the highlights. There are a lot of things on our list today that I feel like have been on our list for a couple of weeks. So we're not going to talk through everything on the list, and I'll get this posted to YouTube as soon as we're done, and then I'll put a link to the PDF in the comments. So we should be good. Should be good there. So if we don't, if we don't talk about everything on the list, we'd be here forever. But Tom, how about you start us out with in development? What is exciting about in development?
Sure. So we have 4 items out there, of which I could talk about one and pretend I'm Adam on the other one. So,
Well, tell us about one, and then we'll see where I can take it.
okay. Microsoft Teams, they now have a Meet Now function that they're going to be doing development on and rolling out. And so instead of having to schedule a meeting to be able to, do everything in the whole bit, it'll be like Skype where you can just say, hey, let's meet, boom, and you're there without having to go through and actually do a calendar and schedule it in the whole bit.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be really nice for people to use Teams in much the same way that they use Skype right now. And it makes it a little bit more of a, instant, I get what I want, rather than having to go through a cumbersome process of creating a meeting, which you really don't care about. You just want to be able to share your screen and go with it. So.
Yep. I'm excited about that one for sure. The other one that we can pretend to be Adam on is the create users with a template in the Microsoft Office 365 Admin Center. So imagine that you have a type of user that you're creating a lot of, or something that you're going to create often. So they actually put a whole big example of this in here. So I am an engineer that is in Redmond, and I need to have access to these groups, and I'm going to do these 3 things, and I'm going to have these characteristics. Now I want to save it as engineer type 1. And so next time I come along and I have another person that's engineer type 1, I can just assign them to that group. It's going to get all of those permissions. So that's kind of a really cool thing. You can set up these templates. I think that will help a lot with governance and defining policies and different things like that. So I think that will be super helpful. So that's in development now, and they say they're going to be looking at pushing some out the start of September. So in the next 2 or 3 days, Tom. And then they're going to develop a few more templates over the next couple of months. So that should be pretty good. And then Yammer using Office profiles, that one's really easy. That means it's going to act more like Office 365. So we're just seeing the Yammer integration there. And then the last one, I'll just say it quick because, like Tom said, these aren't, none of these are super exciting. Microsoft Whiteboard, general availability. So if you use Microsoft Whiteboard, the infinite digital canvas is coming soon.
Boy, they've really upped their writing lately.
They really have. They really have. And you don't realize how it is until you start reading these every week. And it's just like, wow. But crazy. So we'll move to a more exciting story of rolling out. So Tom, why don't you take us into rolling out and let us know what's coming in the rolling out land?
So the first 3 items are all sort of connected in the fact that the whole dark mode and the Black Office theme is gaining traction in just about everything.
Everything right now.
Yeah, I mean, everything is like dark mode. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. I like dark mode, but it's not like this life and death thing that some people make it out to be, for me at least.
Yeah.
So on Android, Outlook for Android, dark mode's coming. Outlook for iOS will have dark mode. And then Outlook for Windows, there's the support for the Black Office theme with the reading pane toggle. So again, if you're really into wanting to have the white text on the black background, that's going to make you really happy to see these particular things going out there. So
that's cool. The next one is Microsoft Bookings. So if you're using Microsoft Bookings, it's now going to work with Teams and Skype. the same way, so that if you're using Teams or you're using Skype, when you do a booking, then your customers are going to get a link to join the appointment with Teams or with Skype. So that's kind of nice. They're definitely working towards that end of life of Skype and trying to get everyone on a team. So we keep seeing all of these things where, hey, if you use this in Skype, now it works in Teams, and we're starting to see all those roll out there. So that's kind of exciting. Then Tom, you want to take the next one, or the
Sure.
next one that we haven't covered already?
Okay, I was going to say, because the recommendation to reuse historical forms, that we covered as nauseam
Forever
last
ago,
week,
yeah.
I think. So yeah, who cares? We have 3 that are grouped together, again, very similar. App mentions are now available for Excel for the Mac, Excel in Office or iOS, and Excel Online. So the ability to be able to do an app mention in an Excel spreadsheet, person gets notified, the whole bit. That's now getting to be, gosh, I've got to think that's pretty much across all clients now, except maybe Android.
And you've switched over to the launched category, right?
Oh, I did. Yes. I didn't have anything else. Sorry.
I think the only one, oh, that's okay. I just wanted people to know it had launched.
Yeah,
I think the only other one for rolling out was the per site anyone link expiration policy. So they can have a different policy than the default tenant. So tenant admins can now set a custom anyone link expiration policy on a site collection that's different than the overall tenant. So that's kind of a thing that's rolling out now. Other than that, we've covered everything else there. So now go back, because the app mentions in Excel for Mac and iOS, that's all super, super cool. But that's actually in the launch category, which means everyone should see it now. And so I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just wanted to make sure everyone knew it meant everyone could see it.
Perfect.
Carry on.
Carry on. Carry on.
Carry on.
Yeah, so we've got that. There was another thing here that I thought was interesting that I hadn't really seen before, hadn't seen mention of it, and that is Smart People Picker on the web. So users using OneDrive or SharePoint files and folders will get intelligent graph-based suggestions when entering recipients in the to line. That's pretty cool when you think about the fact that,
yeah,
hey, you're about to send a share on this particular file to somebody, but if I go to do that, it's probably going to pop up with Sandra's name. Because I work with Sandra, I send stuff to Sandra, the whole bit. So I think it's really cool that they're getting that whole AI graph-based stuff incorporated into more and more things, to where instead of you having to search for stuff, it's going to anticipate what a best guess might be and will potentially save you time. So I thought that was really cool.
Oh yeah, I'm excited about all the AI stuff. I think it's going to be the year of AI. I think it's going to be touching everywhere, and we're not even going to really realize it. All the stuff that's going on. It's like 3 years ago, I think at Ignite or one of the conferences we went to or something like that, they had that ridiculous graph, and it was like all the people in the world, and then this little ping, 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 and it was like all showing everywhere, and everyone was connected. And I'm pretty sure like Modern was rapping and music was playing, and we were all hugging and stuff like that, and we were making the world better, and we were all connected because we were this big data thing. And I'm pretty sure that's now actually happening, like, you know, whatever we're doing with all the data, and we're using it, and it's just interesting to see. It's like, oh, that graph actually exists now, like, you know. Maybe not all the way across the world, yeah, but you know, my world. And so different things like that. It was kind of cool.
Well, that's the cool thing too, in the fact that much of what you see these things doing do pertain to my world.
Yeah.
You know, what you see and what I see are going to be 2 different things, but we're perfectly happy with that because we're seeing the things that we need to see. So good things.
Yeah. There's some new things launching with hub sites. I think we might have talked about those before, but creating hub sites and associating them, they've just making some changes with how you can do that. So you can create a new associated site from within a hub site. So we're trying to make that easier. So if you're a hub site owner and how you can manage and create your hub site, and then some web parts got some love in SharePoint this time. So like the countdown timer, which is actually kind of cool. That's like a little delighter, right? Like we have a team meeting coming up, so we can put our countdown timer to the team meeting. Things like mentions and comments. I think those are some of the big ones. There might be some other ones on that list though, but those are some of the things that I saw. How about Tom? Was there anything else in the launch category this this week?
Scanning down real quickly here. Well, one thing that I thought was kind of interesting is, and this kind of comes in a little bit to your whole news page thing, is on SharePoint pages, custom thumbnails and descriptions. So usually it would take the first image it finds, and that becomes the thumbnail that it shows on news pages and stuff like that. You're now going to have the ability to customize those and choose what goes in there, which, for some people who are really into, oh my gosh, this page has to look this way, they're going to love that. And the fact that you can put a page description in there that isn't a default from something you may have already put in there. So I think that's cool.
Yes, I'm excited about that one.
Yeah, the web part too for YouTube embeds. I like the fact that they're making the ability to get a YouTube video much, much easier, because I know that when we used to do it in SharePoint 2010, it was like, okay, where's the chicken I have to sacrifice to make this work properly?
Why is this so hard? This shouldn't be so hard. Yep.
Yeah, so that's cool. And I think ordering of news articles. I thought ordering of news articles was something that had been in there like forever.
No. Ordering of news articles was one of those things that everybody, when you'd ask about it, everyone would say, that's really good feedback. And then they would quickly smile and change the subject and act like it didn't, but no, they didn't. So ordering of news,
people, it's there now.
It is there now. It is there. It is finally launched. I think it's been rolling out for a while. So if you've seen it in your tenant, they've been rolling it out for a long time. But when news when news first launched, you couldn't organize it, and so it was like, well, the last one I created was on top, and it's kind of like, but I don't want that. But now you can. So, and I know it's been rolling out for a long time, but now that it's finally met the launch category, we can dust that one off and put it in the back. So that one was good.
I think that pretty much does it for me, with the combination of this recording and with Jen's PDF that she creates, which is awesome, by the way. I would suggest that you go out, click on the link to the PDF when we post this up, and you can see some of the other things that we haven't necessarily talked about because they firmly fall into Adam's techie, admin-y type camp, and neither Jen or I can speak to it. Or again, there are things that we've seen repeatedly over the last few weeks and maybe months, and we didn't want to duplicate a lot of the discussion on this.
And these lists are always interesting because everything's going to spark somebody differently. Something that may be of super interest to me isn't to someone else, and then something that is of interest to someone else, it may not even capture me as being something that's major. So I think the only last one I have is the create an org-wide team in Microsoft Teams for up to 2,500 people. So you can collaborate with 2,500 of your closest friends. So that could be interesting. But they've also, they're working on the controls so you can say who can reply to what and who can do what and who can do all of those things. So we'll see. So that's interesting, but I'm sure most people will not be doing that.
I won't judge. I'm judging, but I won't judge.
Somebody's saying, but can I have 2,600?
Yeah. Didn't they mention at one point they were actually looking at 5,000?
Yeah, I think they did, but more power to them. I mean,
yeah, in for a penny, in for a pound. Why not?
I just hope they have fun GIFs enabled so that you can send GIFs to your 2,500 coworkers, because like cats on scooters and gorillas on monkey bars. This just seems like what we should be sending.
That needs to be done for every 2,500 person organization.
I'm sure it's for there's really meaningful things you can do, like, town halls and different things like that, and open presentations. There's plenty of meaningful business cases. I think we're just a little jaded, Tom, because we know what people would do. So we might be letting our experiences show in that, and we might be the first to say, don't do that.
I only wish there was a way right now that on this video I could put Keyboard Cat on so he could play us off.
I love it. I love it. I know there's use cases. I know there are, and I'm sure there's a use case to do it. I don't know that I've seen a use case or would recommend one, but I'm sure there are. So, and I'm sure I'll think of one and have it to talk about next week.
There you go.
Maybe. But anyway, it's been great chatting with you guys this week. We'll have the updates again for you next week, and Adam should be back with us. But thanks as always, Tom. It's a pleasure talking with you, and I'll get this posted soon. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everyone.